Your RAG system can get better while your evaluation says it got worse. That usually means your relevance labels are bad.
Exactly. A bad label is not just a small mistake. It bends the scoreboard, rewards the wrong retrieval behavior, and hides the failures that matter in production.
So when teams say, our retriever dropped 3 points, you are saying maybe the retriever is fine and the labels are the problem?
Yes, if the label set is inconsistent, incomplete, or based on fuzzy rules, the metric stops measuring retrieval quality and starts measuring annotation chaos.
Give me a concrete case, because this is where teams get smug. They trust the benchmark because it has numbers.
Say the query is, how do I reset an enterprise SSO session timeout? One labeler marks a page relevant because it mentions session timeout. Another marks it irrelevant because it covers admin policy, not the reset flow. Your system retrieves that page, and now the same result is both a hit and a miss, depending on who labeled it.
And suddenly, precision, recall, hit rate, all of it starts wobbling.
Right. The metric looks scientific, but the ground truth is unstable. That is dangerous because teams make ranking changes, chunking changes, and model swaps based on noise.
Let's pin down the phrase. What actually makes a label bad?
3 big things. First, the label does not match the user task. Second, the label guideline is vague, so different people apply different standards. Third, the label ignores partial usefulness, so nuanced retrieval gets flattened into a yes or no.
That first one feels lethal. Matching the task sounds obvious, but teams miss it all the time.
They do. If your users need a passage that helps answer a question, but your labelers reward documents that merely mention the topic, you train and evaluate for topical overlap, not answer support.
Example.
A user asks, can contractors access the internal VPN from personal devices? One document says contractors and VPN in separate sections. Another says contractors may not use personal devices for VPN access. If both get labeled relevant because both mention the words, your retriever gets no credit for finding the one that actually resolves the question.
So, the weak retriever ties with the strong retriever, and the wrong team wins the argument.
Exactly. That is how bad labels distort evaluation. They compress meaningful differences. The system that retrieves truly useful evidence can look average, while the keyword chasing system looks competitive.
Now the second part, label guidelines. This sounds boring until it ruins a roadmap.
Guidelines are the operating system for labels. Without them, each person invents their own rule for relevance. Is a summary page relevant? Points to the answer, but does not contain it? Is an outdated policy relevant for historical questions, but not for current ones? If that is not written down, every labeler improvises.
And then, disagreement creeps in, not because the people are careless, but because the rules are missing.
Yes, disagreement is often a process bug, not a people bug. When one labeler rewards broad context and another rewards exact answerability, the metric becomes noisy. You rerun the evaluation and think the retriever changed, but what changed is who happened to label which queries.
That noise has a political effect too. One team can cherry-pick wins, another gets blamed for losses, and nobody is arguing about the real user experience.
That is a real risk. In noisy evaluations, decisions shift toward whoever tells the best story, not whoever built the better system. Budget, launch timing, and model choices can all swing on bad labels.
Give me a practical scenario where disagreement poisons the metric in a way a programmer would actually recognize.
Imagine 50 support queries labeled by 3 engineers. For password reset questions, Engineer A marks Help Center articles relevant if they mention the flow. Engineer B only marks pages relevant if they contain the exact steps. Engineer C marks API docs relevant if they explain the underlying auth state. Now your top K recall is a blend of 3 different products: end user help, admin troubleshooting, and developer internals. The score is not one metric anymore. It is an accidental average of conflicting definitions.
So when the team tunes chunk size or adds metadata filters, they are optimizing against a moving target.
Yes, and moving targets create false confidence. You can get an apparent improvement simply by favoring the labeler style that dominates the set. That means your experiment winner may fail the moment real users ask slightly different questions.
How do you stop this without building some giant annotation bureaucracy?
Keep it practical. Write a one-page guideline tied to the user task. Define what counts as relevant, partially relevant, and not relevant. Include edge cases like outdated docs, navigational pages, and pages that mention a term without answering the question. Then test the guideline on a small batch, compare disagreements, and tighten the wording before scaling up.
So the trick is not more labels first. It is sharper labels first.
Exactly. A smaller, clean set beats a larger, messy set, because at least your metric means something. Once the rules are stable, then you can grow coverage.
And if you skip that step, your evaluation becomes theater. Charts go up, demos look good, and production still disappoints.
That is the punchline. In RAG, bad relevance labels do not just mismeasure the system. They teach the whole team to optimize for the wrong kind of retrieval.
So the real competitive edge is not only better embeddings or re-rankers, it is cleaner judgment about what actually helps the user.
Yes. If your labels are sloppy, your metric is a rumor. If your labels are sharp, your evaluation becomes a strategy.